For Port Adelaide fans, it's been an agonising wait for this day. Well, the good news is it's finally arrived, but in the pits of their stomach they must have one overwhelming thought and fear. Surely it can't happen again. Good afternoon everyone and welcome to AAMI Stadium in Adelaide for Network 10's exclusive coverage of this first qualifying final. And I'm joined by Stephen Silvagni, as I was 12 months ago, and we sat here, Sauce, and watched Port go down to Sydney, and as I said, that fear again is surely it can't happen again.
Well, who knows? Geelong are in very good form, and the big question is whether the Port players can stand up to finals footy.
Well, it must be a lot of nerves for particularly Mark Williams. There he is. It's a contrast as we look at Mark to Bomber Thompson, who's just pretty jovial and enjoying it all.
Yeah, quite incredible. Of course, all the pressure on Mark Williams, Bomber Thompson, a young group out there today who have played very good football over the course of the year.
They must be nervous, mustn't they, the Port fans, just hoping against hope that they can play like they do in the home and away series.
Well, you can sense it in the crowd that as we were walking in today, there were Port supporters coming up. How do you think we'll go? And obviously they're asking the question of their players.
They are, and there's going to be some questions asked out on the ground. Tom Harley, he's got a big job, maybe not as big as Matthew Scarlett, but a big job nonetheless.
Oh, hasn't he been a great player? He's been great support to Matthew Scarlett, and obviously going to pick up a key forward today.
And helped to build Geelong's formidable record this year, particularly in the second half of the year. This is the form ladder from rounds 13 to 22. So Port have only lost one game, Geelong only two. The bottom line is they're the two most informed sides in the competition.
Very even. Of course, Port deserve to go in favourites with 17 wins. Of course, Geelong 15 wins this year.
All right, we talked about the tension. I'm sure we can find some somewhere in the Port Adelaide rooms, and that is where we find Mark Aiston.
Yes, I am in the Port Adelaide rooms, and Mark Williams, the coach at the moment, is chatting to the players. We'll just keep our voices down a bit because Mark is at the moment just giving his last instructions before what is going to be a massive game for them. An enormous amount of pressure on Port Adelaide, but I'd have to say it doesn't appear as though it's affecting any of the players because I saw two or three of them. They looked focused, but they were relaxed. And if that is the way they're feeling, they're ready to go.
Well, I guess the Cats have probably got a little bit less to lose as far as today goes. I wonder how they're feeling. Certainly a bit of speculation there may be a change. Let's check in with Andrew Marr outside their rooms.
Yeah, thanks very much, Hutto. Air of quiet confidence down here in the Geelong camp. I think they know what they've got to do to beat the Port Adelaide boys today, and they believe they can do it. However, there has been a change in the Geelong selected team. David Johnson did not make the flight over. There was some doubt about his fitness during the week. He hasn't come up. We're not sure about which player's been elevated off the emergency list yet. It's probably going to come down to either David Wojcinski or Corey Enright. We'll get back to you with those details as they come to hand. Just repeating, David Johnson out of the Geelong team. Back to you.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, we will check in on those teams in just a moment. Sauce, lots of great matchups today. Ling and Burgoyne, do you think that'll be one of them?
Burgoyne's been in sensational form, one of Port Adelaide's prime movers. I think Cameron Ling will go to him. He generally shuts down a good player.
Well, I'm sure the boys upstairs will have thoughts on that and also the final lineups. Michael Christian, once again, joined by Michael Malthouse. Boys, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hutto. Yes, good afternoon, Mick. Looking forward to this game. You were involved back in 2002. Collingwood beat Port in a qualifying final. A huge mental challenge for them today.
Well, it will be. I think we caught them out a little bit that time because our form was pretty ordinary. Geelong coming to this game with a lot of form, so I don't think Port will be taken too lightly.
Well, let's have a look at the Geelong lineup. And Ben Graham, well, probably line up at full forward or centre half forward has been fantastic for the Cats. And Gary Ablett, what a start he's been. Across half forward, Cameron Mooney, he might be the one to line up on Chad Corn. Steve Johnson, 5 last week against the Hawks. Across the centre, Cameron Ling, what a wonderful year he's had for Geelong. And as we look at their half-back line, and gee, what a line this has been. Milburn in fantastic form. And Tom Harley, well, he's been in awesome form as well. And the full-back line, Matthew Scarlett, no doubt he'll be all-Australian full-back. And what a job he'll have today on Warren Tredrea. As we look at the Geelong on ball, Stephen King, the captain, back in great form. And Bartel back in the side this afternoon after missing 2 weeks through suspension. Spriggs, Haynes, Riccardi, what a pinch hitter he's proved to be this year. And Wojcinski into the side. Well, Mick, where do you see Geelong's strengths and weaknesses? They are a chance today if they can get it all together.
Oh, absolutely. I think Geelong's strengths is in their freshness. They're new to the final series. They won't play against them. They've got players like Ablett and Ling, Maloney, Scarlett, all these young players. They've all got this hunger for success, and they won't know any difference between winning and losing. So therefore, they're not scarred by past. They're going to make their own history today.
And Matthew Scarlett, what a player he's
Well, you're right. He's certainly going to be the number one fullback for the the year, and you can tell by, you talk about Scarlett, talk about Harley, and that's the reason why they've only had 79 points average scored against them. They are number one at that, and that's going to put enormous pressure onto Port Adelaide.
It certainly will, and also Mark's conceded inside 50 in their defensive 50, also the best in the competition. Well, let's take a look at the Port Adelaide lineup. Daryl Wakeland, game number 200 this afternoon. What a servant he's been. Chad Corns, well, great masterstroke from Mark Williams to put Corns back at centre half back. Will be all Australian, no doubt about that. Across the centre, some underrated, very hard working midfield division for Port Adelaide, so they'll be looking to get on top today. Warren Tredray, ably supported by Pickett and Josh Marnie. Tredray, 75 goals for the season, and the much awaited clash with Matthew Scarlett and Brendan Laywell. He's done very well this year. He's kicked 24 goals, and Toby Thurston's 21 goals, so certainly some good targets up forward for Port. Brogan, Burgoyne and Josh Carr are the on-ballers this afternoon, and starting on the bench, Schofield, Jude, Cassisi and also Kingsley. Well, it's a big challenge for them. Their strengths and weaknesses, they've got an obvious couple of strengths, Mick.
Oh, they certainly have. Tredray will be certainly the centre half forward of the Australian team. He is just a dynamo at the moment. Awesome form, 75 goals. Chad Corns, interesting, gone from forward line to back line and has really dominated. He's the springboard of attack. He sets them up. Interesting what sort of game it's going to be to play on those two. Their weaknesses really is going to be whether they can get over the final series of the last couple of years where their mind has obviously been affected. I think it'll serve them well though. I really do believe that they're probably going to be stronger because of that final experience.
Well, in talk of finals experience, 181 finals played to 42, but because they've lost crucial games, is it an advantage?
I don't think it is. In this case, I don't. Most of those are a nightmare. So why would you? You couldn't even count half of them. So I suggest that the sides are going. One's going in fresh, the other one's going in with some point to prove it. And under those circumstances, previous form is almost out the window.
Yeah. Well, big clash and a big medal challenge for Port Adelaide this afternoon. Well, Port fans certainly love their football team, and Mark Aiston didn't have to go too far to find out.